Are you ready?
Alrighty.
I have to start
Hi,
this.
America. Welcome
Hi,
to
America.
Angel and the Wiz.
Welcome back to Angel and the Riz, round 2. I've been hit. Okay, my aunt sent me this. For those of you who have heard, 5 golden rings.
5 golden rings.
Okay. Well, here's what she sent me. There is one Christmas carol that has always baffled me. What in the world do leaping lords, French hens, swimming swans, and especially the partridge who won't come out of a pear tree have to do with Christmas? Well, she says this week I found out. From 1558 until 1829, Roman Catholics in England were not permitted to practice their faith openly. Someone during, probably a lot of lawyers, okay? Someone during that era wrote this carol as a catechism song for young Catholics. Catechism would be like faith teaching, right? Okay. It has 2 levels of meaning. The surface meaning plus a hidden meaning known only to the members of their church. Each element in the carol has a code word for a religious reality which the children could remember. So here we go. This is really good. You want to start?
Okay. The partridge in the pear tree was Jesus Christ. Okay.
Okay.
The 2 turtle doves were the Old and New Testaments.
Cool.
3 French hens stood for faith, hope, and love. 4 calling birds were the 4 Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Cool.
And the 5 golden rings recalled the Torah or Law, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Okay.
Right, yes.
And the 6 geese a-laying stood for the 6 days of creation.
Right, and on the 7th day he rested, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 7 swans a-swimming represented the 7-fold gifts of the Holy Spirit. Prophecy, serving, teaching, exhortation, contribution, leadership, and mercy. So next time you hear this song, it's going to really mean something different to you. The 8 maids a-milking were the 8 beatitudes, Blessed are the, okay? 9 ladies dancing were the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Words we use to describe the Wiz. Just kidding. The 10 lords...
I would say most of those. You might have to take the self-control and the patience out.
That's true. Absolutely true.
Possibly peace, too, depending on who would be opposite of you.
Very good. Okay, but the ones that you left in, that's very sweet. You're very kind. The 10 lords a-leaping were the 10 commandments.
That makes sense.
The 11 pipers piping stood for the 11 faithful disciples. Cool. 12 drummers drumming symbolized the 12 points of belief in the Apostles' Creed. So here is your history for today. This knowledge was shared with me, and I found it interesting and enlightening, and now I know how that strange song became a Christmas carol. So pass it on. Oh, and also, the 12 days of Christmas actually start on Christmas Day. So the 12 days of Christmas are the 12 days following December 25th. The Christmas season runs until Epiphany, January 6th, which was like a revelation. Realizing something, Epiphany, doesn't that usually mean I had an epiphany, I came to...
No, the Epiphany is when the 3 kings came to and brought Jesus the gifts.
Bethlehem?
Yeah, Bethlehem.
Really?
Yeah, that's the Epiphany.
You know a lot.
Hispanic,
You were great last week, too, on all this stuff. You really know.
The Hispanic culture, and that I learned that the Hispanic culture celebrates the Epiphany is just as big of a day as Christmas. So.
Okay.
It was funny you talk about 12 Days of Christmas because I was watching Jon Stewart. I know one of your favorite correspondents.
He has some...
He
can be fair.
He did this
sometimes
funniest bit about... They were talking about the war on Christmas, and it started with that whole nativity scene and whatever. And I'll have to show it to you later today.
Okay.
He went on about how Christmas started off as it was just one day celebrating the birth of Christ, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and then we decided to start celebrating it on the eve before. And now we have to celebrate it 12 days out to January. And then he goes, oh, and let's start all the way up until... like now with the Christmas season doesn't start until Black Friday, and he goes, but now we've seeped it into Thursday, and he goes, you get over a month and a half, you get like a month and a half worth of Christmas, so what war are you talking about? But he did it in a much funnier
Right.
If you could see, you'll have to see it. It was so funny the way he just, and I just laugh. You know, you couldn't help but laugh at
Right.
the accuracy of his comments. Of,
Right.
You know, like how consumerism has taken over the holiday season.
Well, you know,
and I feel kind of, and to me, it feels kind of hypocritical. You know how for the last, and I think I've said this before, probably last year, is that for 6 weeks everyone's full of, you know, giving and sharing
Right.
and helping others
and being
community.
the people they should be all year round.
And then it's like, oh, and now we're gonna make New Year's resolutions to be that kind and good person,
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
into them.
you know, come January 6th when you know it's all gone out the window, you know,
Right.
and that's, I don't know, frustrating,
Excuse me.
hypocritical.
Pardon me. Well, but I would say this.
So.
Christmas encourages us to be the people we want to be, that we should be inside. It draws our attention to being better than we normally are. And it's like, if it could stretch, listen, I'm happy it stretches a month, because it's on people's minds that much longer.
I'm glad
Do you know what I'm
that
saying?
the spirit of Christmas, the consumerism side of Christmas, I'm irritated at, you know?
Well, yeah, but the only thing is I would share with you is that, don't ask me why, but we use it, I hate to say it, as an excuse to share gifts, to give gifts to people that we want to give gifts to. You know, now I realize some people kind of feel forced, well, I got to get a gift for this guy, and blah, 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 and stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of.
There is some intimidation, and I realize that happens with anything, but...
I feel, you know, I've had a rough couple months financially, so my gift giving is, you know, very low. It's,
Right.
you know, my family, my parents, to say thank you, and I didn't even get them anything that would make a significant impact, you know.
But it's a
you
gift.
know, like
it's from you. You thought about them enough to get them something. It doesn't matter what the gift is.
I got my sister and her husband something, but I didn't really get it for them. I got it for them to do with their kids.
Right.
You know, I'm making something for my other sister who's expecting a baby, so it's going to be like for all of them.
But then that's more special than going out and buying something.
Well, it's kind of making something. It's a cross-stitching thing, so... Anyway, you know, like, I a couple years ago, I got gifts for some people I worked with at the school, and I did it anonymously, and I even bought myself a gift, so it looked like
you got one too.
Yeah, I got one too, and somebody just gave it,
Right.
and it was very personal things that, unless you were part of this close-knit group, you wouldn't know these things about each other. So it was really, you know, that was like the special thing, is that people, you know, when they opened it and they were like, who gave this to me and how did they know, type thing. And so that was kind of, I think eventually they just figured out it was me. Someone
who was decent and kind and loving and all of that stuff.
Yeah, but I've helped, you know, when I had the financial ability to, I've helped other people, and I've never asked for anything in return. You know, I never kept a tally. I never kept I never did any of that. You know, and again, let me tell you, I'll barter with the best of them. You know, if I need something from you, then we can make a deal, no problem. But if I want to give you something, then I give it to you. Yeah, and like Adam says these things, like, because now he's doing financially a little bit better off than I am. But a couple years ago it was
the other way around.
The other way around, and I know that we talked about that. And so I had paid for a lot of things at the time, and he'll make a suggestion of, let's go out and do whatever.
ABC, whatever.
Yeah, and I'll say, well, I can't afford that.
Okay.
Or he'll say, how come I always have to? How come? This is what he asked me. Actual conversation. He goes, how come I always have to pick where we go out or what we do now?
Right.
And I said, because I can't afford to do anything. And that was kind of always our deal too, was whoever invites pays. Well, whoever's idea it was is
foots the bill.
Yeah, foots the bill. And so I would have a lot of great ideas because I could foot the bill, and now I can't. So he'll say, like, oh, you want to go out tonight? Yeah, well, what do you want to do? I don't know, I'm going to do whatever you want to do. And he got really, why was this? I said, well, because I can't pay for it. You know, I don't want to pick a place to go out to dinner. Yeah, I want to go out to dinner. I want to go to this restaurant, you know, I want to try all these places, but I can't afford
to take it.
And so I don't want to take you to do something. And he goes, and he says to me, you know, but you paid for so much early on. And I said, I said, I've never asked or expected anything in return. And I said, but also, I think that he's well made up for that. And I told him that too. I said, I don't want anything. So, anyway.
So does he now say, listen, where do you want to go? I'm paying.
No. No. I think he just kind of knows. If I can pay, or if I could pitch in a little bit, I'll do it. Like, earlier this week, I actually had a
I'm
coupon.
poor, I don't have these problems. I stay in the house, I watch television.
I had a coupon to go to Sweet Tomatoes.
Okay.
And I was going to take my new roommate. Because he's my new roommate, and
how's that going? Okay.
It's going well. Yeah, he's a good guy. Very down to earth. I like it. But anyway, I figured I need to, let me get to know my roommate. We have to live together for the next 6-7 months.
Right.
Let me get to know him. What better way we go to this salad bar buffet place?
Right.
So I asked him if he wanted to go, and he said, yeah, sure. And I was gonna pay. It was gonna be my treat because it was gonna. I had a coupon.
Invited.
And I had a coupon, so it was gonna cost me,
Right.
and I had the money. It was gonna be no
Right.
more than $25.
Right.
For the two of us. Well, about an hour later, I get a message from Adam saying, hey, you want to go to Sweet Tomatoes tonight? I'll take you and your nephew. And I was like, well, so I told him, I said, oh, I actually was going to take my roommate there, but he goes, well, okay, well, we can all go. And I'm like, oh, okay, but I told him, I said I was going to pay for my roommate. I can't afford all four of us. He goes, well, I'll pay for me and your nephew. And then I was like, okay, so we split it up that way, which was nice.
So you all went together?
So we all went together.
Right.
Yeah, it was all the four of us, which was funny because it was with my nephew who's 7. He's like, ah.
Right.
So,
but that's nice that he said that he offered to take you and your nephew.
Oh yeah, he'll do that. He'll take us out to eat.
Well, I mean that he would bring a young child, which is definitely changes everything.
To a place like Sweet Tomatoes
Right.
or Cece's Pizza or something like that, where
Right.
it's kind of on the cheaper. He wouldn't say let's go to Applebee's or.
Oh no, it would be inappropriate.
Or yeah, because that's
Because then you want to be with your date.
Yeah. But
If I might be so bold.
No, it's.
I mean,
can be bold like that.
So we still moving in a few months together?
That's the plan.
No, I really do, because I just think, I think, I've wanted for you as long as you've wanted it for you, okay? And I've watched it grow over a period of time. And I'd like to see that, and it'll be interesting to see, it'll be interesting to hear how that develops once it happens, and how that grows. But, excuse me, I think isn't it funny? Nowadays, that seems like such a normal, natural first step, preparing for life together. And in the old days, you didn't do that.
What, move in first?
Yes. In other words, find out about, are you compatible? Do you work together? When you're living with people, you find out who they really are. And you don't know that until you're living with them. How many, and to think of the hundreds of, a couple of thousand years or however long it was, where I asked you to marry me, and then we lived together. Wow, what a shock that could be. Do you know what I mean? And now, so I mean, we have made some good progress, I think. Because I think, and I'm sure that there are still people that don't. There's still people that are, don't do
want
that.
to do that, yeah. And it's,
But I would think it
and
would be...
kudos to them who can do that, because I can't. I don't think I...
Well, I don't think, looking at my history, believe me, I've tried every combination of things, okay, and people, okay, and and it's just, it just, because even now Tina and I only lived together a couple of months. And during that, and we had already committed to getting married. I knew very early on, excuse me, that she was going to be fine. She was going to fit in with me, and the way I was, she could deal with me and all of my peculiarities, many of which aren't presented here on television, thank God. And I knew she could deal with them. And it was absolutely true, knock on wood. It's been 28 years now, next July it'll be 29 years. And I've been myself the whole time. And amazingly, 28 years we're still together. And she's, So, but we still lived together a while, you know, and I've made this point before, and I'll just make it quickly. I lived with a girl for 3 years. No, I lived with a girl. Yes, I lived with a girl for 3 years. Got married. We split in 6 months. And we were together the whole time. But something came into my life. It changed. Blah, 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 blah. You know, so I mean, it's like, you know, how do you know? Sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. What I think, one of the things I think is sad, I've probably said this before, is I hate sometimes, and I don't know if guys do it, maybe guys do it too. I've always seen it from the girl's point of view because that's where it was most visible to me. Where, pardon me, a girl might like a guy and she kind of changes, you know, to be compatible with him. And to me that's doomed because she's not being herself. And eventually she's going to be herself. And if that wasn't compatible, it's not going to be. And I've always felt that women, that if they would just be themselves and let the person that likes them the way they are find them. Now, I don't know, and I don't know if guys do that. I don't know if guys do that. You know, I mean...
I don't think they... I think...
They're not as malleable or
I don't
whatever.
think they do it to the extent that women
yes,
do it.
Yes, okay, I agree with that.
know that guys will might not say that they like something, but they will, like, they'll go to a romantic comedy.
Right.
They might not want to.
Right.
They definitely don't like romantic comedies.
Right.
But they will allow themselves to go through specific situations.
Right. At least during the courting stage.
Yeah, because even sometimes after, you know, because girls have some pretty decent power over men.
You've noticed.
But, you know, like, but what girls will do instead is instead of just tolerating, and
things.
like for me, instead of just tolerating like a horror movie,
right,
I might be like, oh my god, they're my favorite,
right,
when I really hate them,
right, okay,
you know,
yeah. right,
that's
okay.
kind of.
But you know what else they say too, and this shows that thank God there are two different sexes. Thank God for that. And I'll tell you something too. I've been exposed to the gay lifestyle because of where I used to live, you know, down in a village. So I was really exposed to the whole gay scene. There is a tremendous amount of sadness, excuse me, in the gay and lesbian community because they already are dealing with something that they can't look around and see as normal. So they're starting to, and they are making progress, you know, and which is good. They're making progress.
Huge progress now.
But the problem is, so I mean, and I don't really know where I was going with that. The sadness thing threw me off because it was such a powerful thing, and to see them so sad. But you know, but anyway, you know, the point that we were trying to make before was that, oh, I know where I was going. It's amazing to me. Another thing that I learned when I was doing the recovery show was that women will stay with someone that's struggling with their disease longer than a man will. A man will leave. If a woman's having problems with alcohol and drugs, in most cases, he's not going to stick it out. The woman will stay with the guy. You know what I mean? So that's oh yeah, that's why I got off on it. Because it's wonderful, the differences between men and women. That's why no one will ever convince me that it's not best for a child to have one of each. Because they bring things to the relationship.
Our red light is flashing.
Oh, is it really? Where are we time-wise? We're at 18, we're at 19. We have to get to 24.
We should be okay.
It's going to be really close.
Okay.
That's like a 5-minute one. Well, do you, but I have, and see, it said 3:48 too. Okay? Do you want to hit pause?
Sure. Okay. So I think that
Sonia, to finish what I'm saying, it's just that I think it's best for a child to grow up in an environment because even though the two gay folks, you know, have a relationship and that they understand and they grew up in and everything else like that, all my life, women have very special traits. And they have a softness, and they have these different traits. And if it's two guys, that guy cannot take the place of a woman. And if it's two girls, she can't take the place of man. I've seen it. I've looked at it my whole life. Now, I'm not talking about their relationship together.
Right.
I'm just talking about what they bring into that home.
I was talking to my roommate about, he's recently going through some personal issues.
Okay.
And I empathize with them. I truly do.
Okay.
And he's asked me things like, why has my relationship with Adam worked, but yet I subjected myself to this guy, you know.
Yes, I know. We know. The
Yeah.
scourge of the earth.
So, you know, and I've been doing a lot of reflection on that.
Okay, but you were
know.
younger, too.
I was younger, and I, you know, there's a lot of psychology behind that, you
Right.
know. I kind of say he's got the Prince Charming complex.
Right.
Where a damsel in distress, he sweeps them off their feet.
Right.
But then he realizes they're not the type of person, you know, he wants to always rescue them.
Who is this? This is the new roommate?
No, the old guy. The old guy. He always
Right.
wants to rescue the girls.
Right.
Make them feel special.
Right.
But then he wants them to be this,
Actually live the way he thinks they are.
he wants them to be this. It's like he wants to make them into somebody they're not.
Right.
And I fell prey to that because for me it was, here's this guy who must think I'm really special because he's coming in to like rescue me from whatever relationship I've been in, like this crappy relationship I was in.
Right.
And but so, you know, so now I'm attached to him. I feel
Right.
like, you know, I don't know. It's a big psychological mess.
Okay. But you're out of it.
I'm out of it, yes. I'm out of it, but that doesn't mean there's not room for reflection.
Oh, no, there's
You
you
know,
can
like,
always
that's-
learn. There's
and
nothing
I
wrong with
kinda,
learning.
And I also told him, I said, as long as I'm in that house and he's the owner, there's always
Right.
going to be
Yeah, but that you got to get rid
problems.
of. And have you two decided you're going to go someplace else? You're going to go to a new house?
Not yet.
Okay. So you might live there,
Because
but you dump all the stuff.
Well, we're probably going to still live. For right now, he'll probably be moving in. Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating.
Moving into
So,
that
yeah,
house.
only because I have 6 cats. So you tell me what homeowner's going to rent to some crazy lazy lady, her boyfriend, and 6 cats.
Okay,
you
well,
know.
and just
And
take
I'm
all
gonna-
his stuff and put it in storage.
That's
that's
what'll
exactly
happen.
what I would do.
That's what's going to happen.
And I
actually-
would send him the bill for the storage.
No, I think the other
Dad's gonna
homeowner,
take care of it?
Because I had talked to him already about it.
Because I wouldn't pick it up. I would say, listen, I'm renting a house. I'm paying the money for the house. I want the house. I don't want your house. I want my house. That's what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
You know, and
So.
but it sounds like the dad's got his act together.
Oh yeah, I like the dad.
Okay.
He's been really great.
So
Really wonderful, really patient,
Right.
understanding given the the financial situation with the bankruptcy
Right.
debacle and
Right.
and having.
Is
to
that still
explain-
being worked out, or has it made
Yes.
progress yet?
They're filing a motion soon.
Okay.
So
Well, what the number do you have over there? Can you see the number?
2310.
2310, and I have 2110, so I lost 2 minutes.
Okay.
And then so what we'll do is
We got like a minute then.
we got like a minute. That's right.
You might have to do a little bit of editing.
Well, it's always a pleasure. I upset her last week. I want you to know, between shows, I apologize personally to her, and because I have great respect for her, because she has a good brain and she's not afraid to use it. Some people have brains, but they don't like to do anything with them. Okay, they just they just carry it around. You know what I mean? But she uses her brain, so that's why I apologize. So I want you people to know that the only reason she hit me only one time at the beginning of the show was because I
hit him 10 times in between
that's
shows.
right, and because I didn't want to offend her. She's the one I'm most concerned about. You know. Anyway, so
Anyway, I hope everyone has had a very, I'm going to say Merry Christmas Kwanzaa.
happy holidays.
Happy
That's
holidays.
Whatever you celebrate,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what you celebrate.
No, as long as you had a good holiday season and that you were
and you
safe.
got the gifts you wanted.
And there was snowstorms. There were snowstorms, I know, up north. Well, the week that we're taping the shows, there have been some pretty bad storms up north, so I hope that you guys are all safe up there and do something good every
Yes,
day. It
right.
doesn't matter if it's the holidays or not. And please volunteer at your local animal shelter because there are lots of little babies.
Now, there was a couple of you here last time. I played a really dirty, rotten trick, but I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I had this little tiny piece of a song done. And I just couldn't let you go without hearing that little piece of that song. And, well, it wasn't ready then. And sometimes songs take a long time. If any of you have ever seen me close my show with a lullaby, I wrote the first few lines and 30 years passed before I finished the song, you know? Really, it's true. So anyway, so I was teasing you folks, and I was playing that song. I was doing that a little bit. It wasn't ready at the time, and I kept working on it, and I didn't like the word. And I go, we had so much trouble with one word in this song. It took a long time to get the word, you know, but it's ready now.
Whoa.
Now, I don't know if it's going to come off the way it should, okay? If it does, it will be fun. I have walked the Arabian mountain. I have stood where the wise men have been. I've lived among angels in transit. I've traveled where few men have been. I have seen mountains crumble before me. I have watched as the waves clear the shore. But I turn to those angels in transit, and they help me to weather the storm. So walk while you wonder, which way shall you go? Is there anything there left to see? And one of those dreams your mama once had, the dreams of what she wanted you to